I arrived at Prince Turkey Street where the tall buildings stood in bright colors. The road was wide and clean, lined with palm trees and new construction on each side. It felt like a modern part of the city but still busy with life. Cars were parked close to each other and the glass fronts of restaurants reflected the sunlight. I drove closer and the green sign of the butcher shop and grill came into view. The name stood bold on the building with large windows looking over the street. I stopped and looked at the stylish plaza around it with many restaurants and cafes. The building felt new and inviting, so I was eager to step inside. We had come a little early before opening time and waited in front of the doors. The wait felt longer because of the excitement for something new. This was not just another restaurant, it was a South African grill. It promised something different and exciting, and that made me even more curious. I had heard of their passion for meat and rustic barbecue spirit they bring. While I was standing outside, I imagined the flavors and the smoke that were waiting inside. This was the moment I wanted to see if the experience matched the name. So let's get inside and see. Hi guys, this is Yazan. Today I will take you with me to the Butcher Shop and Grill, one of the South African restaurants in Al-Khobar city. I will be ordering several dishes from their menu and I will be sharing my honest review. No filters, no fluff. From starters to desserts, we'll be diving into the full experience. So join me today for lunch and let's discover if this place is really worth the hype. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's give it a try, guys. I stepped inside and the place felt warm. The walls were covered with red bricks and black leather seats. The wooden booths made the tables look private and comfortable. Above me, the steel beams and lights gave the space a rustic grill feeling. On the wall there were decorations of knives and cattle designs. Screens showed a soccer match which added energy to the room. At the entrance, the butcher counter displayed fresh cuts of meat. Beside it, jars of sauces and spices lined the shelves. There was also a cabinet filled with biltong and sausages ready for customers. The kitchen could be seen through the glass, which made it feel honest and open. Every corner mixed restaurant dining with butcher shop style. It was not just a place to eat, it was a full grill experience. The menu was shown on a digital screen which made it simple to explore. It started with appetizers like wings, mushrooms, and seafood. There were also soups and fresh salads for a lighter choice. Grills were the heart of the menu with beef, lamb, and chicken. Seafood plates like prawns and fish added more options. Vegetarians could try salads or stuffed mushrooms. But strict diet options like gluten-free or vegan were very limited. It was a nice menu, but it could be more helpful for health needs. And for children, grilled chicken and small bites worked well as safe choices. The drink section was wide with juices, mojitos, and mocktails. It felt like a menu that gave comfort for families and also luxury for meat lovers. This is the South African boerewors sausage stew. It was a special start to the meal. They served me a complimentary dish. The sausage came inside a rich tomato sauce. The color was deep red and full of flavor. Beside it there was fresh bread. The bread was soft with a light crust. I could use it to dip into the sauce. The sausage pieces looked rustic and simple. The smell was smoky and slightly spiced. I took my first bite with the bread. The tomato sauce tasted sharp and warm. The sausage was juicy and full of spices. It had the taste of coriander and pepper. The bread balanced the strong flavor. Every bite felt homely and comforting. It reminded me of a meal cooked on fire. This was not even ordered from the menu. It was served by the restaurant as a warm welcome. Since it was not listed on the menu, the calories were not available, and it showed the true South African style of sharing food. This is the Mediterranean seafood skillet. It came to the table served in a hot cast iron pan. The dish was filled with prawns, calamari, and mussels resting in a golden broth. Fresh lemon slices sat on the side, adding brightness to the look. Green parsley was sprinkled on top, giving a fresh and clean finish. The broth smelled rich with butter, lemon, and herbs as the steam rose up. Slices of bread were placed on the side, perfect for dipping into the sauce. The prawns looked full and tender, shining in the light. The calamari pieces were soft and curved, holding the flavor of the broth. The mussels opened wide, showing their juicy orange meat inside. I dipped the bread into the broth, and it was buttery, sharp, and full of taste. The prawns had a natural sweetness that mixed well with the lemon. The calamari was soft, not rubbery, and it took in the herbs flavor very well. The mussels were fresh and tender, giving the dish a real taste of the sea. And the broth felt smooth and comforting because it was slowly cooked with care. This skillet was heavy and rich, with a total of 1,494 calories. It was more than just a starter. It felt like a full seafood meal in one pan. The bread made it even more filling and tied the whole dish together. It was a mix of freshness and richness, and every bite showed strength until the end. This is the South African truffle mushroom tenderloin strips. It came in a hot black skillet filled with creamy sauce. The color was light beige with pieces of beef inside. The beef strips looked tender and juicy. On top there were small green herbs for freshness. Beside it there was a basket of sliced bread. The bread looked soft with a thin golden crust. The smell of truffle filled the air around the table. It was earthy and rich with a touch of butter. I took my first piece of bread and dipped it in the sauce. The sauce was thick and smooth with a deep truffle taste. The beef strips were soft and full of flavor. Each bite mixed the bread, meat, and creamy sauce together. It felt heavy but comforting. It was made for slow eating. The truffle gave it a special taste that stayed long on the tongue. This was not a light dish, but it was warm and filling. It carried a South African touch in a very rich way. The whole portion had 1,410 calories, which made it one of the heaviest starters. It was creamy, earthy, and perfect for sharing with others. This is the brisket and cheese. It came in a hot black skillet covered with melted cheese. The top was golden with small green herbs shining through. The beef pieces sat under the cheese waiting to be found. The smell was strong with gravy and a hint of onion. Steam rose slowly and made it look even richer. The cheese stretched softly as I cut into it. I lifted a piece with my fork and the cheese followed behind. The first bite felt creamy and heavy. The beef was tender and filled with the taste of gravy. The cheese gave it a salty touch that mixed with the meat. The onion and herb added light freshness. Each bite was rich and filling but still balanced. It was a strong comfort food that left no space for doubt. The 632 calories showed in every bite. It was a dish made to be shared but also enjoyed alone. This is the stuffed portobello mushroom. It came to the table looking golden and rich. 2 large mushrooms sat on a dark plate. The tops were covered with melted cheese. The cheese had a golden brown layer. Underneath was creamy spinach filling. Beside it there was a cup of blue cheese sauce. The sauce was smooth and light in color. The smell was warm with cheese and herbs. I cut into the mushroom with my fork. The inside was soft and juicy. The spinach filling was creamy and rich. The cheese added a strong salty taste. Every bite felt warm and comforting. The mushroom gave an earthy flavor. The blue cheese sauce added a sharp taste. It mixed well with the spinach and cheese. This dish had 649 calories. It felt heavy but balanced at the same time. It was a strong vegetarian option with deep flavor. This is the fantasy salad. It arrived bright and colorful in the bowl. The mix of colors made it look fresh and rich. There were slices of strawberries on top. Blackberries and raspberries added a deep tone. The arugula leaves gave it a fresh green base. I could see walnuts spread across the salad. The crumbled goat cheese looked soft and white, and the citrus dressing gave it a light shine. The smell was fruity and nutty at the same time. I lifted my fork to take the first bite. The berries tasted sweet and sharp. The walnuts added a crunchy texture, and the goat cheese was creamy and tangy. It matched well with the arugula leaves. The strawberries brought a juicy sweetness. The dressing added a citrus spark to every bite. It felt light but also filling with the nuts and cheese. This dish had 602 calories. It was fresh, balanced, and perfect for summer. This was the tenderloin medallions. It came on a large brown plate. The slices of beef looked thick and juicy. They were resting on grilled yellow and green zucchinis. The meat was covered with a bacon sauce. The sauce was glossy and dark with a smoky smell. On the side there was a cup of extra sauce. It looked rich with small bits of onion and pepper. There were also steamed broccoli pieces on the plate. Their bright green color balanced the heavy meat. The smell was strong with grilled beef and smoked bacon sauce. I cut into the first slice with my fork and knife. The beef was tender and easy to cut. Inside it was juicy and cooked just right. The sauce gave it a salty, smoky flavor. Each bite felt bold but smooth at the same time. The zucchinis added a soft and light taste. They carried the grill marks and a slight char. The broccoli gave a clean, fresh crunch. It balanced the richness of the beef. I dipped the beef in the sauce for a deeper flavor. It made the bite taste stronger and sharper. This dish had 808 calories. It felt heavy but also balanced with the vegetables. It was a classic steak plate with strong flavors. The tenderloin medallions were the highlight, and the sauce tied everything together with a smoky taste. I took the braai platter and it looked big and colorful. In the middle of the tray there was one grilled boerewors sausage. It was thick and curled with a shiny grilled skin. The weight was about 250 grams. Next to it there were 3 grilled lamb chops. They were dark and juicy with a smoky edge. Together they weighed about 300 grams. Beside them there was 3 pieces of grilled chicken breasts. Each piece had a different flavor which made it exciting. One piece was covered in barbecue sauce. The second piece was spicy with a red glaze. The last one had lemongrass and garlic butter on top. The chicken breast was around 250 grams. At the edge of the tray there were 2 jumbo shrimps. They were split open and grilled with spices. The shells were charred but the inside was white and tender. They made the tray look even richer. On the side there were slices of garlic bread stacked high. The bread was golden with a soft buttery smell. 2 small cups of sauce sat in the center. One was a thick barbecue sauce. The other was creamy garlic mayonnaise. Together they added sharp and smooth flavors. The lamb chops were smoky, tender, and rich in taste. The sausage was rich and full of spice. The chicken gave 3 flavors in one bite, and the shrimps were light but tasty with the garlic bread. The platter had about 2,300 calories in total. It felt heavy but it was made for sharing. This platter was a full meal with strong flavors, and definitely I will order it again. This was the Malva pudding. It was a traditional South African dessert. The pudding was warm and soft with a golden top. It sat in a layer of orange creamy sauce. On top was a big scoop of vanilla ice cream melting slowly. Beside it were slices of fresh orange and strawberry. The smell was sweet and fruity. The sauce mixed with the ice cream and made it even richer. The pudding itself was spongy and light. Every forkful had sweetness and cream with a touch of citrus. The ice cream cooled the warm pudding in a perfect balance. The fresh fruits gave a bright and juicy taste at the end. This dessert had 1,035 calories. It was heavy but full of flavor. I felt it was comforting and sweet, the kind of dessert you want to end a big meal with. This was the strawberry mojito. It came in a glass jar filled with crushed ice. Fresh mint leaves floated on top with a bright red strawberry. The drink looked fresh with a mix of green and red colors. The glass felt cold as soon as I picked it up. The smell was light with mint and sweet fruit. I lifted the glass and took my first sip. The taste was crisp with mint and sweet strawberry. The ice made it extra refreshing and cold. The strawberry gave a fruity sweetness, and the mint added a clean taste that stayed after every sip. It was light but full of flavor at the same time. This strawberry mojito had 290 calories. It was a sweet and refreshing drink that ended the meal perfectly. This was a pina colada mocktail. It came in a tall glass with a froth on top. A slice of pineapple sat neatly on the rim. The drink looked tropical and light. It had a creamy soft yellow color. The texture looked smooth and cool. When I brought it closer, it smelled fresh. The pineapple gave a sharp fruity note. The first sip was creamy and cold. It had the sweet taste of pineapple with a soft coconut touch. The balance of fruit and cream felt refreshing. It was smooth but also filling, and the coldness stayed long on my tongue. This pina colada mocktail had 206 calories. It was a tropical drink that ended the meal with freshness. This was a small cup of espresso. It came in a white cup with a golden foam on top. The service looked smooth and rich. A small biscuit was placed on the side of the plate. The smell was strong and full of roasted coffee. It carried a deep and earthy aroma. I lifted the cup and took a sip. The flavor was bold and slightly bitter. It felt warm and sharp on the tongue. The foam added a smooth layer to the taste, and each sip gave a strong caffeine kick. The biscuit added a light sweetness after the coffee. It was a short drink but full of energy. A simple and classic way to end the meal. The price of Mediterranean seafood skillet is 79 Saudi Riyal. The price of truffle mushroom tenderloin strips is 89 Saudi Riyal. The price of a brisket and cheese is 74 Saudi Riyal. The price of stuffed portobello mushroom is 54 Saudi Riyal. The price of fantasy salad is 89 Saudi Riyal. The price of tenderloin medallions is 169 Saudi Riyal. The price of a Braai platter is 312 Saudi Riyal. The price of Malva pudding is 34 Saudi Riyal. The price of strawberry mojito is 39 Saudi Riyal. The price of pina colada is 26 Saudi Riyal. The price of espresso is 12 Saudi Riyal. The total plus the value added tax, which is 15%, is 875.70 Saudi Riyal. For the food, every dish was cooked with care and came with strong flavors. The meats on the Braai platter were juicy and grilled with perfect seasoning. The sauces added both balance and character, from smoky to creamy. The Malva pudding was rich and sweet with the right amount of fruit and ice cream. Even the drinks, from the mojito to the shakes and coffee, carried freshness and detail. It felt like each item had its own story, and nothing was rushed or overlooked. That's why the food deserved nothing less than a full score. So I gave it 5 out of 5. For the service, the staff were kind, quick, and respectful from the beginning to the end. They explained the menu well and made the whole dining experience easy. Every order came on time and was presented carefully. They checked in just enough to make sure I had what I needed without making it feel heavy. It showed that they have high skills and a warm attitude, which always makes a big difference. For this reason, I gave the service 5 out of 5. For the atmosphere, the place felt welcoming with a lively yet comfortable setting. The seating was wide and private enough to enjoy the meal. The design gave both modern comfort and a touch of cultural character. It's the kind of space where you can enjoy a casual lunch or a longer dinner. The mood of the restaurant added to the food and service, making it a full experience. This is why I gave the atmosphere 5 out of 5. For parking, there was plenty of free space since the restaurant is part of a larger plaza. It was easy to find a spot without stress. For wheelchair access, there was no ramp at the entrance. I noticed that other restaurants in the same plaza did not have ramps either. It's an area where this could be improved for better access. This meal felt complete in every way, with food, service, and atmosphere all coming together to create a special dining experience. So this was my experience today at the Butcher Shop and Grill. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Drop a comment down below and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. And just remember, each bite tells a story. See you next one. Bye.